Welcome back to the Math That Builds Wealth plus Attend³ Framework Series. And in the last episode, we explored one of the biggest problems facing education today. Why so many students no longer feel connected to mathematics, school, or even their future. We discussed how students are not rejecting learning, but they are rejecting disconnected learning. And we introduced the idea that students engage differently when learning connects to purpose, opportunity, survival, and real-life outcomes. No wonder. In today's episode, we're going to dive deeper into the Math That Builds Wealth framework, otherwise known as MTBW, and you're going to learn what MTBW actually is, how to connect math to real-world decision-making, how the MTBW framework will improve engagement and attendance, how AI and automation are changing education, why teacher-owned systems matter, and how educators can begin building modern classroom infrastructure using websites, automation, and communication systems. I'll also show you how I'd use GoHighLevel, the software platform we use to implement many of these strategies, including teacher websites, communication workflows, parent engagement systems, automation, and intervention support systems. So if you're an educator, an administrator, counselor, intervention specialist, or just someone passionate about helping students reconnect their learning, make sure that you subscribe and follow this channel, because this series is designed to help educators prepare students for the future while building systems that create long-term impact. And if you want to explore the software platforms we use to build these systems, check out the GoHighLevel free trial link in the description below. With that, let's go ahead and jump right into episode 2. So, what is MTBW? Is it about real math? Is it real life? How about real freedom? See, one of the biggest issues in math education is not mathematics itself, but disconnection. See, students ask, when am I ever going to use this? And honestly, many times they deserve a better answer, because students are leaving school without understanding taxes, credit, debit, debt, budgeting, entrepreneurship, AI-driven careers, investing, retirement, or actually how money actually works. And then we wonder why engagement drops. See, that's why I created a framework called Math That Builds Wealth, to connect mathematics to real-world outcomes so that real math, real life, and real freedom. And when we wonder why engagement drops, we need to understand that we needed to make a change. See, students disconnect when learning feels meaningless. Okay? Today's students see inflation, debt, AI disruption, rising costs, economic uncertainty. Today's students live in a completely different world than many education systems were originally designed for. See, students see rising rent, expensive housing, student loan debt, layoffs, AI changing careers, financial pressure on families. But then many walk into classrooms where mathematics feels disconnected from survival. Eventually, students stop asking, how do I solve the problem? And start asking, why should I even care? That emotional disconnect is where disengagement begins. So we need to change, to move away from memorization to something what I call application plus decision making. See, Math That Builds Wealth does not remove the rigor out of the curriculum or mathematics as a whole as a subject. It increases relevance. See, students still learn algebra, proportional reasoning, statistics, problem solving, critical thinking. That is still happening. But now those concepts are connected to credit scores, taxes, loans, investing, business, AI careers, marketing, entrepreneurship, retirement planning. See, now mathematics becomes a decision-making tool. And when students when they see the value, participation changes. Just for instance, an example, credit score. Percentages should become personal. See, one powerful Math That Builds Wealth lesson involves credit scores. See, students will calculate their payment history percentages, debt utilization, interest rates, and borrowing costs over time. Suddenly, percentages matter because now the math impacts buying a car, renting an apartment, purchasing a home, insurance rates, their future opportunities. The math becomes personal, and personal relevance changes engagement. How about the example for a student loan, borrowing today and paying back tomorrow? When students calculate monthly loan payments, compound interest, repayment timelines, total borrowing costs, something changes. See, now algebra becomes connected to life decisions, and students begin asking, is college worth the cost? What careers provide a return on their investment? What alternatives exist? How long repayment should take? That's not just math anymore. That's critical thinking. How about instead of preparing students for jobs, we prepare them for entrepreneurship, that they start thinking as an owner or to have not a job. See, business math is another example. We need to talk about revenue, expenses, profit, and taxes. Of course, students already live inside an entrepreneurship culture because they've seen social media creators, YouTubers, online stores, affiliate marketing, AI businesses. But most students never learn the mathematics behind the business. See, math that builds wealth lessons will help students understand pricing, profit margin, taxes, customer acquisition, budgeting, break-even analysis. Now the math becomes strategy and students begin seeing themselves differently. See, AI is changing everything, and AI is changing education forever because students need adaptability, systems thinking, communication, financial literacy, and problem solving. But artificial is changing education and the workforce faster than most schools realize. Many future careers will require adaptability, systems thinking, communication, creativity, automation awareness, and financial intelligence. Students need more than memorization. Students need a framework that helps them to think. And a daily activity block. See, this is where we should provide instruction, engagement, recovery, intervention, and communication. One of the most powerful systems that I built while I was teaching was something very simple. It was called the daily activity block. Every day, students and parents could access their assignments, the lesson objectives, the videos, recovery work, reflections, and intervention resources. Now, but over time, it became much bigger. See, it became an attendance support system, a parent communication system, a recovery system for absent students, a conference material, consulting proof, book content, intellectual property. And most importantly, students could connect the learning even when they miss classes. There is a chronic absenteeism problem in the United States where across the board, you have over 22% of students are chronically absent. That means that they're missing a minimum of 18 days of school during the school year because the system is broken, because the system is reactive. We wait and react for Johnny to be absent instead of being proactive in providing a system and maximum one-tier instruction and engagement activities where Johnny gets up on his own every day to come into our school and our lessons. The daily activity block is critical. If you want to know what is going on in your classroom and where things fell down, then you need to record a history of what goes on in your classroom. To use that daily activity block as a personal reflection tool. It will help and support your instruction. You will be able to track your engagement. You will be able to provide a resource so that students which are absent can go in order to recover and have intervention resources available for those students. So, many teachers spend decades building incredible resources inside district systems they do not own. Then retirement happens. transfers happen, access disappears, and years of work vanishes. That realization completely changed my thinking. I realized that educators need portable systems. Now, GHL is for educators. GHL stands for GoHighLevel, which is a software platform that is being used by businesses, primarily marketing agency software that has everything in there that a person needs to understand about marketing tools and that agencies use and charge quite a bit of money for. Okay. But that same system that is used to engage a customer, just think, let's take a moment and think back on major purchases of things that you've had or things that you have bought. Did you see something at an advertisement that was on TV and just jump in your car and say, I gotta have that? Probably not. Most of us have probably seen ads or been exposed to things over and over again, sometimes even up to a year before we even decided that the timing is right. Okay, so the same thing is for this. We're going to get more into that, but GHL is for educators, and this series is specifically designed to show you that GHL is for educators and how you're going to use it to improve outcomes for your students, but more importantly, to protect your intellectual property and to show you how to turn that into income, either in retirement or whether you choose to leave education or stay in education, it will be able to do that for you. So there's a 30-day free trial that is below inside the description. It also comes with a free boot camp that's going to help you learn how to learn implementation stages from experts already using the system. It also is going to show you how to take AI plus automation ready to future-proof your education workflows. And the good thing is this is going to be teacher owned. The money that you're going to spend actually starts you as an education consultant, but more importantly, it gives you a flexible platform in order to reduce your tax liabilities and escape that barrier of only $250 for teacher expenses to reduce it. Okay, so those where we go in, but understand that GoHighLevel is for educators. So I became passionate about platforms like GoHighLevel, not as a marketing software, but as educational infrastructure. So GHL actually allows educators to build teacher websites, communication workflows, attention systems, parent engagement systems, intervention workflows, AI automations, email systems, text messaging, and long-term intellectual property. And here's something important for educators do not overlook. When you structure correctly through a business or LLC, tools like this may potentially become tax-deductible business expenses, and that changes everything. Now, educators are not simply consuming tools, they are actually building assets. So let's take a look at AI-powered Math That Builds Wealth plus an Attend³ website. This is the intellectual property in the framework that every teacher needs to actually develop. And so this is a beginning framework. So now imagine combining AI with a structured Math That Builds Wealth plus Attend³ teacher website. You're going to use AI tools and GoHighLevel together. Educators can rapidly create systems that support engagement, communication, attendance, recovery, intervention, and future readiness. See, this is no longer just a classroom website. It becomes a classroom hub, a relationship system, an intervention system, a parent support system, a leadership portfolio, and long-term intellectual property. The future educator will not just deliver lessons. They will build systems. Now, Math That Builds Wealth creates relevance. Attend³ creates structure. And together, they create momentum. Students engage differently when learning feels meaningful. communication stays consistent, and system supports accountability, and families stay connected. This is about moving students from compliance to curiosity to commitment. Now, believe it or not, students want direction. Today, they're overloaded with information. They want to know, how does life work? How does money work? How do I avoid financial mistakes? How do I build a future? And how do I adapt in the AI era? See, mathematics can help answer those questions, but only when we connect learning to life. In our next episode, we're going to start to do a couple of things. We're going to explore engagement, automation, accountability in detail. We're going to start the free GoHighLevel trial and join the free bootcamp. And we want to be able to subscribe, to this series for future-ready educational strategies and step-by-step guidance. But in the next episode, I'm going to break down the Attend³ Framework and show how engagement, automation, and accountability work together to improve attendance and student outcomes. Now, I'm going to also begin showing how educators can use AI plus GoHighLevel to build modern engagement systems step by step. So subscribe and follow the series. And remember, students engage differently when learning connects to purpose. This is Dr. Smith, and I will see you in episode 3.